But when he popped the question, oh my God, we were like walking back into the chalet and he opens the door and I guess he was so nervous. He didn't even wait for me to step in.
Do you want to have a special event or you want to have a surprise? Obviously, I want to have a surprise, but I have sixth sense. And we live together. So obviously, if he planned something, I would know.
Yeah.
And right at that moment,
Some dads will say no to everybody that wants to marry their daughter, even if their daughter loves them, because, you know, it's a money thing, right? It's like, oh, their family's not as good as our family, etc.
but my parents invited 500 people.
What?
Oh my God.
Just your parents?
Yes,
Just your parents?
and
Legit.
Just-
That sounds very Vietnamese.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Someone Like Us podcast. I'm Anne.
I'm Joelle. And I'm me.
We're three friends who found each other in Canada, and this podcast is where we share our journey of exploring identity, love, friendship, career, finances, healing, and everything in between.
We hope you find some comfort from this podcast and that you're not alone in this adulting journey abroad.
And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, feel free to give us that 5-star review. It will really help other people find our podcast and get our message out there. Hey everyone, welcome to our Vows and Woes episode. Today's episode is all about weddings. Do they still make sense? Are they just a massive expense with a buffet or still the ultimate romantic gesture? And if you're a person of color, weddings become a whole community reunion. I'm joined today by my good friend Sarah, who survived it all. Sarah is a finance professional, first-time mom, and enthusiastic reader. Our partners go way back, and through them, we got to know each other. She got married in 2023, just after COVID, which I'm sure just added to the wedding headache. I was really lucky to attend the pre-events and then both the ceremony, which was absolutely beautiful, and the wedding, where I had way too much fun. Now, I'm interested to know what was it really like. Sarah, my friend, welcome to the pod. So happy to have you here.
I'm scared to spill the beans.
Yeah, spill it all. This is why we're here. We want to know all the juicy parts. Now, Sarah, let's start from the beginning. The proposal, that magical little moment that changes the trajectory of your whole life. Could you share with us how did it happen? And did you say yes right away or make him sweat a little?
I said yes right away. I won't lie. And just to preface, I would say the proposal was my favorite part of everything, more than the wedding, more than everything else. I just feel like there's no pressure to it, right? You just come in and it's just like a grand gesture and you say yes and you're so happy after. So I would say that was my favorite part. I did say yes right away. I did not make him sweat. I think most people do say yes right away. Imagine making them wait. I would feel kind of bad. But I also knew that I wanted to marry him, or I knew already confident, and we already had those conversations. So it wasn't like he kind of did it out of nowhere and where I was totally shocked and totally off put by it. We had those conversations. So I did say yes right away. I don't regret it, which is good, but that would be my experience.
How long have you guys been dating before your partner proposed to you?
It was right at over 2.5 years, between 2.5 years and 3 years was when he proposed. And we got married a year and a half after that. So we were together for 4 years when we got married. We actually said I do. But and it was right after COVID. He proposed in January of 2022. So I think there were still lockdowns even when I think that he had to work around it a little bit.
Was it a private proposal or was it somewhere outside?
So it was in Blue Mountain in one of the chalets, the ski chalets. It was just me and him. But I found out after the fact that my brother drove up to Blue Mountain, while we were kind of out of the chalet. He took me to that Blue Mountain Scandinavian spa. I don't know if you guys have been with the hot tubs and stuff. It's really cool. He took me there, and then while we were there, my brother drove to Blue Mountain and decorated the whole chalet. We were there, and then we went to the spa. So I was totally shocked. I had no idea it was going to happen. I didn't even know how he pulled it off. I found out a few days later that it was my brother that drove up to decorate it. But when he popped the question, oh my God, we were walking back into the chalet, and he opens the door, and I guess he was so nervous. He didn't even wait for me to step in, take my jacket off. I saw my full winter jacket and everything. But when he went on his knees and asked, that's kind of how it went down.
Just to give a background, I already knew because my partner already told me beforehand, and I was freaking out. It was such a big deal for me for no reason at all. I just freaked out. I was just there's no way it's happening. I feel it was because
it was the first one out of that group too. He was kind of setting the tone for a lot of his friends.
Correct.
Even I feel the wedding set the tone a little bit, and maybe not the best way, but
that is correct, because from our friend group, Sarah and her partner JC, they're the first one to get married and also the first one to have a kid as well. So they're like, like first people to go through it. They're
Yeah.
literally definitely setting a tone for everyone because they're like just amazing. They're little goals. And what about you? I know that you got married in 2024. Tell us, how did your husband propose to you?
We were visiting my parents in 2022, and then we decided to take my parents to an island in the furthest south of Vietnam. And then it was just one morning. We were both jet lagged, so we couldn't sleep past 5:30 a.m. in the morning. We decided to go for a walk along the beach, and I was in my pajamas. I was wearing
Aw.
Crocs.
Aw, I didn't know
And
what
we
you're
were just walking along. We were just walking along the beach, and he asked me if he needs my dad approval before he proposed me. And I said, well, proposing is not a Vietnamese tradition. My parents didn't propose to each other. They had a wedding band, I think. That's it. So they don't have a ring for proposal. I said, you know what? It's not a Vietnamese tradition. I don't think you need to ask him. And then we talk about our friends who just got engaged. We're chatting about them. And then all of a sudden, my husband asked me, do you want to have a special event or you want to have a surprise? And I told him, obviously, I want to have a surprise, but I have really good feelings about things. I have sixth sense. And we live together. So obviously, if he planned something, I would know. And
Yeah.
right at that moment, he popped the question.
He's like, now it's a
just-
surprise.
Ask him.
Yeah.
Say, that's one
He
of the
said, yeah. He said, are you sure about that? And I
Oh,
said,
wow.
I'm sure. Yeah. And then he just
That's very nice
got
of
on
him
one
to
knee.
confirm, like, are you sure you're
Wait,
in a
did
good
he
mind
have
and
did he
space?
have the ring?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah? Oh, I love
crazy.
that.
He was well dressed. I looked terrible. I was wearing my pajamas, walking on the beach, was wearing Crocs, and I
But you were
didn't
surprised.
I was. Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, "What? What is this? What you doing?" Because he was, on one knee, and he was looking at me with teary eyes and asked me if I would marry him, and I was still in shock. I think it took me 1 minute or two, and I said, I didn't say yes. I feel so bad. I said,
Oh, you made him
"Okay."
sweat.
They're like, okay, fine. I guess I'll do that.
Yeah, I didn't say yes. I feel really bad about it. I just say, oh, okay. Yeah, that's it. And we have some photo. I looks really funny. I can't believe he did that. He pulled that trick to me.
They always do that to us, eh?
Um,
You in the PJs, me in the winter jacket. Like all the videos and stuff, like I'm in like a full winter jacket. I'm like, come on.
Honestly, it's so romantic. If you ask me, I would probably prefer somewhere that people don't see me. I would feel a little bit pressured, like this like flash mobs and stuff. This is literally just my ninth circle of hell, in my opinion. I don't want anyone dancing in front of me.
Same.
Just like, let's do it low key somewhere. This would be my perfect thing. But speaking of engagements, of course, we cannot pass over rings. I did a little bit of research, and in Ontario, the average cost of engagement ring in 2024 was approximately $3,500, which of course, this is just various on, like based on location and gemstone choice and personal preference and so on and so on and so on. And I'm not mentioning it in a way to shame people who didn't buy the ring for $3,500 because I think it's pretty expensive. Sarah, from your perspective, did size or design matter to you at all? And if you can share with us your ring, that would be nice as well.
So I feel like I'm maybe a little bit of an outlier where I really didn't really care about the ring. And then on top of that, my grandma had given me the ring she had gotten engaged with, like in the 50s, like the 50s or the 60s. So when me and JC first got serious, he would ask me the same thing. Do you want a surprise? Do you want anyone there? So I tell him my answers and I'd be like, and I also have a ring. So here's the ring for whenever you're ready. And he did propose to me with it. It was humongous. Way too big. I don't even wear it, to be honest. I literally took it off right after the wedding and I wear my wedding band here. I think it's like $50 Swarovski band. And so yeah, that's kind of my story. So I would say size didn't matter to me. It was more like the sentiment of what the ring kind of meant in my family. But I don't wear it on a regular basis. It's absolutely humongous.
Yeah, it was definitely like very unique. It wouldn't like thin band and then you'll have like a freaking stone right in your face, right? It was definitely like, unique and something I haven't seen before. And you told me something that stuck with me. You said that in Vietnamese culture, it's not really common to spend big money on a ring, right? Like my parents, for example, they don't even wear wedding bands. Could you elaborate on this take that, it's not important?
I think a lot of young people doing all the proposal thing now because of Hollywood, it romanticizes a big gesture, the big ring, but traditionally it's not a thing in Vietnamese culture.
Do you feel
I
like it
think
becomes
I
a
also
competition?
feel
You feel like it becomes a competition, like trying to outdo the
Exactly.
last wedding?
I don't think so. I could be wrong. And I'm very similar to you. I'm an outlier. I don't really care about rings. I don't have any obsessions with jewelry. Like I don't own any piece of gemstones or jewelry. For me, it's just kind of get in my way of doing things. So when we were dating, I told my husband now that I don't care about the ring. Please don't spend money on a huge ring. I would rather you buy me a flight ticket somewhere really nice and we spend
Oh, yeah.
time together, or put it in the stock market, invest it. And he's really on board. I think his friend and lots of his family member also spend a lot of money on ring because it's their tradition, but let's be honest, we don't need it. And he was smart. He went home and he asked his mom if his mom has any kind of family heirloom. And luckily, his mom gave his grandmother ring. So yeah, his mom gave the ring to my husband, and he used that ring to propose me. So it's cost us $0. It was
Amazing.
nicely done. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it has meaning too.
Yeah.
And it's basically thrifting if you look at it that way. You're just basically repurposing that, you're like caring about the environment. So go for it. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, Joelle, I know that you had a ring before. And can you tell me about it, if India has the ring culture?
So yeah, it's the same thing as Vietnam. I think it's just more Hollywood. I also don't care about rings. I obviously returned mine when we broke up and we're not together anymore. But in India, like, I feel like because our weddings are like 5-day event, it's a full on 5-6 day event. Engagement and ring ceremony is one of the days. So it doesn't really happen before. It happens right when you're about to get married. So it's different a little bit. It's still a proposal and an engagement, but it happens few days before you get married. It stuck with me a little bit when Sarah said a little show off thing. I feel like in my culture, if there is a wedding, you have to show off that, there is a big ring or like whatever. And I feel like it's to show the families too. I don't personally like it, but it still happens. And that's the truth. So
They do that in the Middle East. It's the same thing. And it's just like, even if
Yeah.
like there's two weddings in one family, like let's say like, I was getting married and my cousin was getting married in a whole month, but try to like outdo the weddings, and like jewelry is a big part of it. The same thing in Indian culture. It's not just the ring, you get the gold that you wear on the wedding day
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I could totally relate. And I also don't subscribe to that.
Yeah, I didn't mention in the beginning, Sarah is originally from Jordan. So we are getting like a little bit of different perspective because we are all of Asian descent, if I say so. And, like we're getting a different perspective because I think the ring culture is also different in Jordan, right? I would assume, is it like more like flashy, like you said?
Flashy. I would say it's really flashy. And also like in Islam, you get married, you give meher, which I don't know if any of you guys know what it is. It's not dowry, like per se. It goes from like the husband to the wife, but it's the wife's money to like keep in case they break up, so she can keep that money and then she is not like homeless.
It's actually very smart. I think everyone should do it.
So much
That's
of
very
it,
smart.
yeah, that's one aspect of it, why they push for gold and the really big flashy rings. And the other part of it is the showing off, and like, he got me this. It's not just even the bride showing off, it's her mom showing off, and the grandma showing off, and everyone else showing off through her, if that makes sense. Then there's also a lot of judging, right, that happens, or like a lot of like talking crap behind the scenes. People love to do that in the Middle East. So I would answer
I think it's the same in Asian culture.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like I would say like rings is definitely a big part of it. And also proposals in the Middle East are also a lot different. My proposal would not have happened like that. Your proposal wouldn't have happened like that. Let's say like JC decided he wanted to marry me. He would have to go to my dad's blessing, and then his dad would have to go to my dad, and then they would discuss the meher and how they're gonna do it, and get into the nitty-gritty of like, is there anything in your family that's bad, and if something comes out, they'll break off the engagement, kind of thing. And then once the dads both agree, then they're like, okay, you have the go ahead, and then the guy will propose to the girl, and then you have a really big engagement party, which is almost a wedding. It's like basically a wedding. You get engaged, and the bride's family is responsible for that, and then the groom's family is responsible for the actual wedding ceremony where you say
Mhm.
like I do. So it's a little bit different, and it's a little bit where your family's like really involved, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
It's very transactional. So
Oh, it's very
Yeah.
very transactional. Some dads will say no to everybody that wants to marry their daughter, even if their daughter loves them, because you know it's a money thing, right? It's like, oh, their family's not as good as our family, etc. Like, that's all BS.
Mhm.
That's like really in the culture. So yeah.
It's very similar to Vietnamese culture. Well, Liam is not Vietnamese, so he didn't have to go through it. I think he has a free pass right there. But if you date a Vietnamese girl and then you're serious about it, you will go and see her parents for the first time to get their blessing. But that what happens when they started dating officially, and then the girl will also get introduced to the boyfriend family. Yeah, and then the two family will finally meet and then talk about the futures. So I would say it's very similar to the Middle Eastern culture. Other than that, I don't think there's a part where the dad would say, "Oh no, you can't marry my daughter." And you know, if they happy with their daughters and the boyfriend during their dating period, that's technically the blessing for the proposal and the wedding. But I agree for the wedding part, it's a bit transactional. Traditionally, the groom family will pay for the wedding. The bride family will also pay a little bit, and the bride's mom gonna give her a gold necklace, a really thick and big one. I told my mom, Mom, I don't want it. I looks terrible in it. Please, I feel like I'm a cow with a chain on my neck. Please, I asked her for so long, for years. I convinced her, you can give me money, I don't need gold. And she listened to it. She was upset because I was doing something very different from other people. Usually people will have photo of their weddings in their wedding dress and a huge gold necklace on their neck. I didn't have it. I think my mom is cool with it now, but at first she was really against it because maybe she worried that other people who was invited to the wedding would think, how come the bride's family didn't give her anything?
The poor. She's poor, probably.
It's all about
Yeah.
face values, about
Yeah,
showing
exactly.
off. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's always like, what would other people think? God forbid other
Yeah.
people think
Oh, God.
something. Like, God forbid they'll
So
think we're like
toxic.
poor
Dude,
family.
even
Yeah.
like my wedding, like on top of everything else, we're interracial and like religious. Like I'm Muslim, Arab, Catholic, Latino. So when we did have the wedding, the bar, right? I drink, and my mom drinks, but a lot of my extended family doesn't drink. So then that was the whole thing of like, God, what are people gonna say that there's an open bar and stuff like that? So I totally get it, and it sucks. And you feel like you're putting your parents and like out to the dogs a little bit, where people are gonna harm them, but at the same time, this is my life and this is how I want to live. So I
Exactly.
totally
And like one thing I would like to note is Sarah is also one of those people who very unapologetically themselves. She will always be Sarah. She will never be like, oh, I will try to be nicer so you people can like me.
I'm
No, she
pretty
will be
nice.
as crazy as she is and as fun as she is. But in a sense, yeah, she's very unapologetically herself. So that's one thing I admired, and I knew from the beginning that we're gonna have alcohol on that wedding.
Yeah, like
That was like something that I knew that's gonna happen. I didn't even
Dude,
question
and like
it even for a second.
even when I told my mom, she was kind of like, "Oh my God," like this trying to convince me like not to do it, and it was just like, "Mom, this is what's gonna happen. You freaking drink, enjoy the bar." But like it was a big
Exactly.
mental hurdle for her of trying to excuse it to the cousins and like the older people that are more traditional. But at the end of the day, it all worked out, and I don't think she got that much crap, so I think it was okay. It's all in the head.
Exactly.
And honestly, if people have bad things to say, they're probably not gonna say it to you. They might think it, but they're not really gonna
Yeah.
go
Exactly.
up to you and say like, why is there a bar? Like they're not really gonna do that, right? But yeah, I mean, it taught me that literally what she said, that to not kind of cheap yourself out for people, especially when you're the one paying.
That's a great advice. Now, Joelle, and me, we are all currently in our 30s, but you, Sarah, you got married in your mid-20s. Back home, that's kind of like a norm, and please tell us if that's true in Jordan as well. But in Canada, some people can treat it like you're joining a cult, especially like they're going to be like, why are you doing it so early? Anyone question why you were getting married so young? And if yes, how did you deal with that?
I would say two camps. Some people that actually knew me and knew JC were totally got why we were getting married. I feel like the people that actually knew our relationship were super supportive and knew we were making a good decision. But let's say if I was just at work and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting married, they'd just be like, you're fucking crazy. What are you doing? So I would say I got both reactions. The negative reaction was obviously a lot harder to deal with. And also I was like 24. So like I haven't dealt with something like that before, right? Where you're trying to like justify your relationship to somebody, right? So that's what I was doing at the start. We're going like, no, but we've been together like 4 years. We live together. Also, I'm Muslim. I have to freaking marry him. I can't just date him for like 10 years. It's just like not like in my, and that's something like I wouldn't want to do, to be honest. I was defending it at the start. I just got so fed up, like after, because we were engaged for like a year and a half. So after a few months of that, I literally would just look at people and be like, yeah, I'm getting married. Yeah, I'm a child bride. Like, deal with it. Yep, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, your opinion doesn't really matter. But yeah, definitely a lot of people had negative reactions, I would say. The only people that had positive reactions are the people that actually knew us.
And it's annoying that you had to, like you said, justify it. Who are they to question, whatever's happening between the closed doors between you two? And the fact that you have to go out there and be trying to justify, like in court, like, yes,
like,
your
nice
honor,
to me.
I did this. Yeah, he's nice to me and I'm pretty sure and I love him. Like, it's annoying for sure.
Especially like over and over again, right? I feel like that's why I said at the start I was doing that. And then it was just emotionally exhausting where I don't have to justify my decision to you a little bit. But even now, I still get like, you're married, like you're like a little bit, and I'm just like I get where the reaction's coming from, and I would have the same reaction if someone was like 10 years younger than me doing this. So I do get it. It just sucks to deal with, I guess. I don't really know what to say, especially when people say about the kid thing. I'm like, I got pregnant. Like, sorry, oops. So it does kind of suck.
And I feel like you jumped from one stage of like, oh my god, you married, and then bam, you're on the other stage like, oh my god, you have a kid.
I mean, the kid was not planned.
And then what's gonna be next?
The kid was not planned. Like, it was not supposed to go this quick. It wasn't supposed to. We weren't supposed to be jumping ship this quick. But everything happens in my head. Everything happens for a reason. There's a reason all of this is happening. I will say though, it is very isolating because like she said, I'm like the only one with the kid. I'm the only one that got married quick. So I feel like that experience in itself was a little bit isolating where nobody was going through anything similar to me in any shape, way, or form. None of my friends, none of his friends, none of the girls. So in that way, it was isolating because even when I was going through a rough patch and I would try to talk to my friends, they were always there to listen and, would support me. But it's not the same as when you talk to like someone else who's actually done it, right? And they'll give you actual tangible advice and then just say like, oh, like, it's okay, I love you kind of thing, or like everything's gonna be okay when like you have no idea, man. So I would say like I don't like the negative part of all this.
And again, thank you for being real. And again, one of the reasons why we're doing that podcast is we are hoping that like what we're discussing here will reach somebody who is in the same position right now and would be able to know that, maybe you're not alone and somebody else is going through the same and it's rough out there, but you're going to get there as long as you just keep trying. Now, after you got proposed, do you remember how you felt thinking about planning the wedding? Were you the type of girl who always knew what you wanted, the dress, the venue, or did it more hit you in the face like, oh shit, now I have to do the planning too?
It slapped me in the face, girl. Like, oh my God. And I wanted to fully elope or do like a partial elopement where it's just like our parents and siblings, siblings, grandparents, and just like do the deed, get it done, bye-bye. But he really always kind of wanted bigger wedding, a real wedding or reception. So we ended up compromising. But to answer your question, yes, it slapped me like a face. It is so hard to plan like a bigger wedding, but it's also like 10 times more expensive than you think it is. Literally, like it's so expensive.
What about, we'll talk in a second about how expensive it is. But what about you, Anne, when you got proposed and you had to plan it? And, like Anne actually planned 2 weddings. She had 2 weddings. So it's even crazier. How did you feel? Were you overwhelmed from the beginning? Are you a type A who knows exactly what she wants, or more like type B, like I'll go with the flow?
I'm a type A. I know that wedding is something that I don't want. Growing up, I never wanted to have a wedding dress. I'm more like I would prefer to wear pants or skirt to wearing a long wedding dress. I don't want attention on me. I just want to live low-key. Please, no one look at me. I want to do my own thing. I think the reason why I was so shocked when Liam proposed me was because immediately I thought about planning a wedding in Vietnam. Just so you know, wedding in Vietnam is not about the couple. It's about the parents. I remember at my wedding in Vietnam, I invited 30 friends of mine, and I would say about 25 of them came. They just live so far away, so it's understandable that they couldn't make it back home. But my parents invited 500 people.
What?
Oh my God.
Just your parents?
Yes.
Just your parents?
And legit. That sounds very Vietnamese.
Yeah, parents and relatives. No, not
No.
his family. Not his family at all.
You're
500 people, so that
I know.
yes.
It's literally like teachers that probably Anne went to school with and stuff.
Oh
Um,
god.
it's mostly my mom's high school friends, my mom's
Mhm,
college
of course.
friends, my mom's coworkers, and then same with my dad. And my parents have a big family. My dad has 4 siblings. My mom also had 4 siblings, so they invited their families, their extended families, and then also their relatives.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Wow.
It
your
just went
mom
on and
your
on.
mom was really sad. Like, this is our wedding. This is our wedding. We are all getting married.
Do they also like
And
they're that involved? Do they make the big decisions too, like the food and the photographer and stuff?
Mhm.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. It's really
Yeah.
the parents' wedding.
When Liam proposed me, he asked, okay, so when are we going to get married? You okay with next year? And I said, no, please don't. We can't. And he said, why? I don't want to upset him. So I made up a lie. He proposed me in 2022. So I was 28 at that time. I told him, you know what? I would be 29. 29 is an odd number. It's a bad number in Vietnamese culture. So we can't get married next year. And next year is also 2023, and 2023 is also an odd number. We can't get married. Like, lucky numbers and bad numbers are very important in Vietnamese culture, so let's not go there. I forced him to wait until 2024, so 2 years after our proposal to get married. But in my mind, I had so many scenarios running through my head.
Like, I need time.
So the first plan was, yeah, I need time to talk to my parents to convince them because my mom was still working at that time. I was thinking, okay, in 2024, she's going to retire. If she retires, she's not going to invite her coworkers to my wedding. So we got to wait until 2024. And I was also thinking maybe in 2 years, I'm just going to say, you know what? We don't want a wedding. It's going to take 2 years. And then they waited too long and they're going to give up on me. But yeah, that's not the case. That's not the case, guys. My mom retired, but she still keep in touch with all of her coworkers and she invited them all. She worked at a bank and transferred between 2 branches, and she invited all her coworkers from 2 branches.
my
So
God.
that's why it made up to 500
500.
people. Yeah,
That honestly
it was
seems
just
legit.
one night. Just one night, but 500
What
people.
was the second wedding?
Wow.
The second wedding is our wedding in
Okay,
Canada.
Okay, Joelle, again, you had a very, very, very short marriage, but as far as I understand, you didn't have a big wedding. It was very,
I
very
would
small,
never.
right?
I would never. I'm very against spending
Mhm.
money. Give me the money, I'll go for a vacation type of person like you
Correct.
guys. I was very much against an Indian wedding. It's like a 5-day headache that I did not
Mhm.
want to take. And honestly, my relationship was already very rocky. So we had already planned for eloping, which is so cheap. In Canada, it only takes $300 to get an officiant to
Yeah.
just marry you guys. I'm like, okay, I can spend $300, but I'm not spending like $1 more. So it was basically
Was
just
it hard for you to feel like invested in the process if the relationship was very rocky?
it was. I actually forget that day a lot, to be very honest.
Mm.
It's like a trauma response that I don't even remember the day that much.
Like repressed. It's
Yeah.
repressed.
It only comes up in my therapy session. So it was really on a random day. All I remember is just me wearing my regular clothes and the officiant. The officiant asked us if we wanted to say our vows. And in my head, I was like, I honestly don't even want to be here right now, but no. So then he was like, oh, okay, I'll just, sign the paper and you guys are married. I'm like, great. Okay. So that was
Did you have to have a what's that called? The third person. I forgot the
witness?
word.
The witness?
Yeah, the witness. Yeah.
Yeah, his sister and brother-in-law were there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like I forget that day, like, ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did
mean-
it even happen?
Yeah. Honestly, sometimes I really forget. I'm like, I don't remember that day at all.
You just gotta like convince yourself that it never happened. Just like, being delusional for your mental health. Sometimes that's helpful as well. Sarah, back to you. Did you and your partner agree on the vision that you're gonna have right away? And what did you disagree on the most?
We disagreed on everything with the wedding.
Mhm.
Because like I said, like my vision
Lovely.
was simple, small, like I said, like
Mhm.
very elopey. Like don't mean like run to a mountain, but like very not like a big reception. And his vision was a big reception. So we clashed heads a lot because I also knew that I would get stuck with most of the planning. So of this like big event, like I didn't even want. So we clashed heads a lot. And then I can't even tell you how, but he convinced me to do the reception. Like, I think he took like 1 week where he just bombarded me with how great it would be. So then I agreed. I said, okay, we'll do the reception. Once the actual planning got going, I was like, I can't do this. I can't say my vows in front of like 150 people. So I went back to him and I was like, look, man, like I'm happy to do the big wedding for you, but I need like my thing too. Like I can't do that. So that's when we decided to split the ceremony part and the reception part. So the ceremony part was like my vision, where it was just very like very small, very simple. It was like in the afternoon. Not that expensive. It wasn't $300, but it wasn't like anything crazy. And then a week later, we did the reception. So it was like the Sunday we got married, and then the Friday was the reception. It was just the reception, which was his vision, which was like, we had people, it was like, the big entrance, the DJ, all of that stuff. Looking back, he likes my day better. So take that as you will.
No, it was truly magical. Again, I was there as well, so it was really, truly magical. It was very beautiful. It was in Royal York, right? Royal York? Is it what it's
It
called?
was at the Old Mill in Toronto.
Old Mill, yeah. Old Mill.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really amazing. It was very short. And also, I didn't have a
We
dress
just had
'cause I
lunch
ordered
after.
Yeah.
I just remember we just had lunch after, and then that was it.
And then that was it, actually. Like, we really, it wasn't like anything crazy. And I also remember that I ordered this like dress from Shein, and it was absolutely horrible. It looked horrible on me. It was
The
I think
green
it was
one, the green
yeah,
one.
the green one. I think it was a dupe on something, which I realized after, and it literally looked just like horrific on me. And I remember
Dude,
just
you
like
look like
sending it to
Tinkerbell.
Sarah. Yeah, exactly. I look like Tinkerbell, but like Shein version, you know?
Oh my God.
And I literally like sent this picture to Sarah, and Sarah was so nice. She's like, girl, just like, I'm gonna bring you a dress or something. Just go. I think like we were like meeting or something. So she gave me her dress. It was funny that I went for her ceremony in her dress. But yeah, it looked amazing on me. So thank you so much, Sarah. The pictures of me were
You're
like
welcome.
very, very
You're
snatched
welcome.
there.
I still can't have
Yeah. You mentioned that you really, really wanted to elope. What pulled you back? What made you say, I want to do what he wants, I will step back and be happy with that?
I feel like the way he would talk about it seemed like it was really important to him. He's always wanted to get married that way. And like I felt bad, I guess, not bad, but like I didn't want to be the reason like he didn't get that.
Yeah.
And I didn't want us to have any regrets. So I feel like that's my big reason, where I could see it in his eyes, like how much he wanted that. And I didn't want to be the barrier, because we were still gonna get married, right? So I don't know. I would say like that's why. I mean, looking back, should I have, put my foot down harder? I don't know. I don't think so. I'll be honest. I don't think so. I feel like if I did, he probably would have resented me for not getting the wedding he wanted, kind of thing. So I feel like we did make the right choice, in that sense. But like I said, we talk about it all the time, and we had so much more fun on the day where it was the Old Mill, because it was less people and we actually can remember it. Like the reception, I don't remember anything. I remember walking in and I remember leaving. Like it was so much adrenaline through your body. So I would say that's probably why, because you love them. You don't want to make them sad.
Yeah.
Did you ended up planning yourself? Let's be honest here. Like, we're real talk. Like, did you end up planning everything yourself?
I mean, yeah. I can't think of like one thing he did. I can't think of anything. Yeah, I would say I did everything myself, but we did a cheat code where when we picked our venue, we got the venue to do everything. The venue did the catering, the venue did the decor, the venue did like the lighting, but like, yeah, I basically did all the planning. I will say that. And I feel like every bride I've talked to ends up doing like
exactly
80 to 90% of the planning. Because at the end of the day, you think that you want help, but I also said like no to all of these ideas. I'd be like, no, that's ugly.
Exactly.
No, I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
do have like a specific vision, kind of what you want, or you're picky. I don't know. Um, did I love that I did all the planning? Absolutely not. Did we have multiple arguments about it? Absolutely. Like it wasn't like a pleasant thing. Did it teach us a lot? Yeah, I would say it taught me a lot. It also taught me like now I don't do everything. Like even with the baby, like I delegate. Like it's okay to delegate. It taught me
Yeah.
that and that it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to control everything, I guess. But I definitely felt that way in that time period where like I had to like if something goes wrong, like at least like it was my decision, right? I'm not gonna hate one.
I hear you with that because sometimes I know that it's my boyfriend's turn to wash the dishes, and I'm sitting on that couch and I'm watching him washing those dishes, and I can spot exactly
It's
where it's
like
not clean. And you're sitting and you
yeah,
really want to say
it's one of
something. You really
those.
want to say, "Can you please actually wash it there?" But then you know that it's better let them do it so they don't get used to me saying something. Maybe I'll just wash it after again. Maybe, who knows? But at that moment, it takes everything in me to just sit there and be like, I'm just not gonna say anything. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna do his thing. What about you, Anne? I'm assuming you planned everything too.
I delegated the Vietnamese wedding to my mom because it's honestly her
Yeah.
wedding, not mine.
Exactly.
And at first, I wanted to plan something by myself, but after contacting a few vendors, I realized it's really hard to plan my wedding in Vietnam when I don't live there. So I delegated to my mom, and my mom delegated my wedding to her sister, her oldest sister, because I think she used to be a wedding planner. Oh no, wedding catering. So she helped my mom a lot in terms of planning. But right before my wedding, her mother-in-law passed away. So she couldn't attend my wedding because it's just traditionally is mean bad luck. When you have someone in your family pass away, you can't attend any happy events of other people's. It's considered bringing bad luck from your family to others. So my mom was
How long does that last?
a year. Yeah,
Okay.
1 year.
It's the same. It's a long time, but it's kind of the same, like a mourning period, quote unquote. Like,
Yeah, my mom was panicked, so she didn't give me a lot of heads up. The moment I landed in Vietnam, we have about 4 days before the real event. The night before the event happened, my mom unloaded the agenda, the whole thing, all the traditional things that I had to do during the ceremony. And that's when I had my first mental breakdown. Because my husband family don't speak Vietnamese, I have to translate everything to him. And I'm not well versed in wedding ceremonies. Like I only attended 2 weddings in Vietnam. So I had no idea. My mom explained it to me, and then I had to find the language, find the words to explain it to the husband family. It was a lot. I literally could not stop crying before the day of the event because it was just too much. I was overloaded. I was overwhelmed.
it's very
And
overwhelming.
and me and my mom had a big fight. Later my aunt came in between and she helped explain everything. She made me feel better, made my mom feel better. Yeah, it was a lot. But so anyway, she planned the whole thing in Vietnam because it was her wedding. I did add a few things. I said no golden necklace, no exchange rings. I'm not gonna wear a wedding dress in Vietnam because I don't want to. And also in Western culture, the groom's not supposed to see the bride in her wedding dress before the wedding day. My boyfriend is not superstitious, but I use that as an excuse to my mom to say, hey, I'm not going to wear a wedding dress in the wedding. I'm going to wear the traditional Vietnamese dress in white. That's what I can do. It's more comfortable for me. Because, kid you not, they invited 500 people, and I have to go to every single table to say, hi, hello, thank you for coming. I
Oh my
cannot do that.
God.
I cannot do that in a wedding dress. So that's just a few things. There's a few things that I said no to my mom. I also didn't do a pre-wedding photo shoot in Vietnam. I think any couples everyone would do a pre-wedding photo shoot. So then they will have a big wedding photos at their venue. So people will see how beautiful the bride and the groom. We didn't do that. We literally tried to spend as less money as possible because we have to plan 2 weddings and then we have to travel. Like his family had to travel all the way to Vietnam, and then my family all have to travel all the way to Canada. So,
Mhm.
and then I, like personally, I don't like being, dressing up, putting on makeup, and then have a photo shoot done. Like we're not that kind of people. My mom had a really hard time with that, but I just say no. Either that or I'm not gonna have a wedding. You choose. So
Mhm.
we both gave in. For the wedding in Canada, we were thinking about just going to a courthouse and have an officiant at a wedding. We were on board with that at the beginning, but then we feel bad for our parents. I'm the first child. Liam is an only child.
Oh,
We
yeah.
feel
Mhm.
we feel bad if we don't
Oh.
have a wedding for them. So we decided to
Mhm.
have, the one in Vietnam is just for my parents. The one in Canada would be something that we want to do. We want to keep it as small as possible. So we invited 60 or 70 people. And our wedding venue is actually right in his parents' backyard. So we didn't
Oh,
have to,
beautiful.
That's
we,
nice though.
yeah, we didn't have to pay for the venue and we don't have to book anything. And then his mom helps a lot with the catering. And we ended up hiring the same catering that prepared his parents' wedding.
Oh, dude,
Cool.
that's so romantic.
Yeah. Hi everyone, it's Anne's here. Our wedding episode was so fun that we spent almost 2 hours recording it. There were a lot of things to unpack, so we decided to make it into 2 episodes. The next episode will come out next week. See you soon.